I agree. That's kind of my impression playing the Sultai Sedgemoor Witch deck. That I've been playing a little bit of this list that I've been working on, and like the deck doesn't feel unplayable, but it just feels like worse than a lot of the other things you could be doing in similar shells. So I'm gonna probably still think about it a bit, but maybe I'll just like wait till MH2, see if Sedgemoor gets something. It's just like if I could unearth it easier, I'd be way more interested. And so maybe they'll print Careful Study into Modern. I think Careful Study would be a mistake, personally. I would love to be wrong, though. Hey, Mr. Sari. If Careful Study is printed into Modern, it's like immediately one of the best cards in the format. You're supposed to always do something to Birds of Paradise. Is it Thoughtseize the bird? Is it Drown the bird? I can't cast it. I guess I'll bolt it. Yeah. And also, if you are asking for Careful Study in chat, you want Blue Red Phoenix to be as good as it used to be. And I feel that. I totally feel it. But sometimes you have to let the old things die, you know? Urza Saga, best card in Modern. Yeah, I think Urza Saga is going to be quite good. I'm really excited to cast it. They got another birds, but they... Didn't cast it. I guess I'll just Thoughtseize, but I could see maybe just like drowning the bird. Opponent's Bruin. Try to stop them from hitting a land, I guess. You'll never cast Urza Saga? Okay. I will play Urza Saga. Yeah. I will play Urza Saga, I promise. Although there's maybe some ways you can play it, right? You can cast it. Is it if you can? Oh no, you can't like cast it. It's not a spell. Even though it's an enchantment, it's not a spell, and things that say cast without paying its mana cost don't work with Urza Saga. That's correct. Right hand, bottom, exile. Iteration is broken. Cannot cast. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wasn't sure. Cool. Thank checking. We have Simon and Ghost in the chat at the same time. What a good day. Speaking of Discord mods, there's a sideboard guide for the Bring to Light Lurrus deck in the Discord. Finally, for those of you waiting, it's there. I need to make a plug. If I don't know if am I the only one that can make plugs? I think I am. If that's the case, I'll make one in a second. Hands, bottom, exile. Okay. So I'll do that in a second. Top card of my library is Seal of Fire. I definitely would like to draw that, so let's draw it. Oh, I guess I should have just probably clinged something and then... Yeah, I probably was just supposed to cling to dust something and then Seal of Fire. Now I'll just drown and then cling end of turn and then Seal of Fire their bird and also win the game no matter what happens, really. Usually I try to rest on Sundays, but I did feel like I needed to prep a new deck. Or get a new... I've been just trying to get a good Expressive Iteration deck together that's not Blue-Red Prowess for what feels like weeks. And I guess it's probably like 2 weeks. And we've done it. But it might be scooping to conceal info, but I think they're just mono green devotion. Iteration seems like it'd be good alongside Careful Study. Yeah, Iteration would probably be good in Blue Red Phoenix if an enabler gets printed like that. It also, when they revealed Urza Saga right after Counterspell, it kind of feel like obviously Wizards wasn't in on the joke, but I was joking if Counterspell was going to be in Modern, I would have no more brews in the stream. I would just have, control decks that play Counterspell, Archmage Charm, Force of Negation, Cryptic Command, Snapcaster Mage, a Win Condition, and a 1-mana removal spell. But then they printed Urza's Saga, which is like one of the coolest cards to brew around maybe ever, at least in recent memory. Like, so amazing, Urza's Saga to brew around. So it was kind of funny that I made that joke. I tweeted the joke too, that I was not going to brew anymore, and then immediately they showed us Urza's Saga, and I'm like, well, I love that. I love that. Did I see Cave Down's Twitter thread on Urza's Saga? No, I didn't. Is it like just like a deep dive on the things you could do with it? What are the upsides of iteration in this deck over Light Up the Stage and Prowess? Iteration gives you... I mean, I think that, like... One thing in this deck, iteration can be played and you can find 1-for-1 answers with it. And then in that way you can turn it into an impactful 2-for-1. Because you can get a discard spell, you can get a 1-mana removal spell. You can't do that as often in Prowess. Like, you're oftentimes playing threats or burn spells. And then iteration I also think is better than Light Up the Stage in Prowess. Not only being a 2-for-1, but being a 2-for-1 with card selection, and being a 2-for-1 that you can cast pre-combat is really powerful when you compare it to Light Up the Stage. But I also don't think in this deck you want to compare it much to Light Up the Stage, because to play Light Up the Stage, you need to play like 8 1-mana Prowess creatures and a lot more threats. That looks good, Ghost, but I feel like anybody who brings up Urza's Saga, I'll just talk to them about it because I'm so excited. Be an underused command. Have I changed anything to the deck on this league? Yes, I ended up cutting the 3rd Seal of Fire for the first main deck Kolaghan's command, and then I ended up cutting the Kozilek's Returns for explosives. That way we have an answer to like Chalice. Would Buried Alive be good in Modern with Phoenix, or to make Phoenix a legit deck again? Well, Buried Alive Phoenix is a lot better in Legacy, of course, because you have access to Dark Ritual to like actually turn 1 or turn 2 get back 3 Phoenixes. That being said, on turn 3, if you go like Pyretic Ritual, Manamorphose, Buried Alive, get back 3 Phoenixes, that'll be really strong. It might not be very consistent though, so I guess what I'm saying is I don't know, but it does seem like I'll try it if it gets printed. Am I actually excited for Urza's Saga, or is it a bit? I'm super excited for it. This is not a bit. No jokes are being told. No cap. Urza's Saga looks awesome. I'm really excited for it. Bit expensive. I think opponents played Mono Green Devotion. I played a deck similarly. They said that they were a fan of my deck list. They're probably doing something similar to... But I love Urza's Saga. As someone who like spends my entire life brewing, Urza's Saga is like a powerful card that I'll get to spend hours and hours thinking about it. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna go to Esther's graduation ceremony, and I'm just gonna think about Urza's Saga the whole time. Yeah, probably something like this, right? Oh, not this list. Whatever. I was playing In Search of Greatness. I have no idea where this came from. Looks pretty bad. I'll have to play another card. I guess I'll play an Explosives. I don't understand the appeal for a land you lose after 2 turns. It's a land that makes a Karnstruct, and Karnstruct's really strong, and then it replaces itself with a different card. Potentially, it can replace itself with another copy of itself if you get a copy of it. If you get Expedition Map with the trigger. The deck open had 2 searches. Weird. Why did I only play 2? Sometimes I look at my, folders like that and it's a bit weird. Oh, it's a freed from the real deck. Awesome. Let's just take a Burning Tree. Maybe I should have taken the freed from the real, but then it only goes infinite with Leyline, right? It doesn't do anything without Leyline. Oh, they should have played Misty because I knew about this. I knew about the Misty, not the Wooded Foothills. So now I get to go Inquisition, and I think I bolt the bird because they probably have some 5-drops. But bolting the bird is worse against Karn. You cannot get Lotus Bloom with Urza Saga. You can only get something with a mana cost of 0 or 1. I think let's cast Expressive Iteration this turn. Probably find an answer to the bird, right? I have so many. Is Sanctum Prelate going to be a super rare? Well, one thing about Sanctum Prelate, right, is that I want that Bauble. So Lurrus could be a card. Maybe the Dragon's just more important to kill them. Let's go Dragon in hand, bottom of the Bauble, push. Probably just basic swamp here. Because we don't have a second Watery Grave. Or do we have a second? No, we have 2 Steam Vents. What was I saying? Yeah, in Vintage the card seems interesting. Yeah, Sanctum Prelate, like, it's a reprint, right? So it's not like the only printing of Sanctum Prelate exists in the buy-a-box form. So that's gonna make it, you know, probably not infinitely expensive. That being said, it's not a finance stream. I don't know anything about anything, and I would recommend not listening to me when it comes to finance issues. Both in Magic and in real life. I'm not very good with my money. Spike and his money are soon parted. Aspiring to be rich with friends and chatters. People who come and listen to me talk for 6 hours a day, every day it's sick. It's really, really cool. Alright, so sadly I think we go hand, bottom, exile. Rich in content of character. And hopefully, I guess content of heart is kind of the same thing. Any thoughts on Claim the Firstborn in the modern format? Claim is a playable card if you have a density of sack outlets. And there are some good sack outlets in modern, specifically Carrion Feeder is one hell of a Magic card. I guess I should have maybe had Drown up in case they drew Veil. Oh, but we just knew that one. So there could be something there, yeah. I've cast Claim the Firstborn in modern. I don't know how good I think it is. How much do I think Prelate will impact modern? I think it'll be a playable modern card. I think that humans, taxes, potentially some Stoneblade variants are going to be interested in casting it. I don't think it's going to be wildly impactful, though. Seems like a very good matchup. Do you think Lurrus, Bring to Light, and Esprica are positioned at the moment? I think it's similar. I think that Bring to Light Lurrus is better than Esper. I think that to some degree people are still sleeping on it a bit. Every time I play against Esper with the Bring to Light Lurrus deck, I do kind of just feel like I'm playing a more powerful control deck. It's just the vibe I get from the matchup. I want to be able to Cycle Cling, and I want to be able to cast a Sprite Dragon on turn 2. That being said, one thing is that the Bring to Light Lurrus deck is vulnerable to Ashiok more so because it shuts off Bring to Light. Both are really soft to Teferi Time Raveler, and in fact, you know, having a Sultai lets you have Decay, so maybe you're not as soft to Teferi Time Raveler as Sultai, but you're also softer to Graveyard Hate because of Lurrus, although not that soft, admittedly, now that you're not playing main deck Drowns. Opponent tanking, probably Through the Breach. That's the main Temple of Epiphany deck. Did well in the challenges this last weekend, right? See a land on top, scry away a land with a fetch, then draw 2 more. Sad. We've got Lurrus with some flood insurance, of course. I was right about the flood insurance, or the matchup. They did put a card on top. I think I need to take this remand. I'm not thrilled to see their hand, though, especially when we have such a slow draw. The matchup is probably not great either. I'll say. Have to guess. Probably a fun matchup. We get a couple good reprints or new slivers. I think it become tier 1, 1.5. Not tier 1. Tribal decks probably can't become tier 1 in Modern. As long as Plague Engineer, Rin and 6 Lava Dart are really popular and good. Unless, like, somehow the tribal decks get a payoff that answers these things. The problems that they have. But until that change happens, right? Until that problem is solved, I just don't see it happening. Can't is a bold statement. I mean, maybe a bit hyperbolic, yeah. But I don't like, yeah, like in order to do so, it would require having an answer to this problem, which it doesn't currently have, or they don't currently have, rather. So if my opponent has found a land, we die. But if they don't, and we get to hit with Lurrus, maybe we can survive. I would love shamans. I like shamans a lot as a tribe. Yeah, I mean, Muxus is good, but I actually think Muxus would be a lot worse in Modern compared to other formats. I guess specifically comparing to Historic. And I mean, in Legacy too. Like in Legacy you have Lackey to put in Muxus, which is like part of the reason why Muxus is playable in Legacy is you have Lackey. But in Modern, getting to 6 mana in your Goblins deck is not easy, and there are a lot of decks that are just going to kill you before you get to do that. Yeah, that's true. Humans was tier 1 for a while. That being said, like the thing about tier 1 is that whatever decks are tier 1 have huge. They could have won if they just made a treasure, by the way, but we need to draw exactly Thoughtseize to get out of this. Or drown. Sick. What a great draw. I forgot. Yeah, they have 5 cards in their yard. For any deck to be tier 1, that deck needs to be the best deck in the format, and it needs to still be the best deck in the format or one of the best decks, while other strategies are trying to beat it. You know, does that make sense? Like it needs to be competitive while other decks are also out to get it. And tribal decks have a really hard time being tier 1 while they have a target on their head. Is my point I'm trying to make. That it's very difficult for a tribal deck to remain the best deck in the format, the deck to beat, the monster that's winning all these tournaments week after week, tier 1 decks, because they're just pretty beatable. Most decks have tools to destroy them. Make sense? Okay, I think I'm going to cycle a Cling. Flood is very real. I'm going to target my own graveyard because we have Drown, of course, and we know they have Through the Breach. So target my own Delta, and I'm going to leave Lurrus as the 1 card in my yard. We have 1 on Earth. By tools destroyed, you mean Plague Engineer? I mean Plague Engineer, Lava Dart, Rin and 6. You know, there's a ton of tools. I mean, Plague Engineer doesn't even see that much play anymore, but Plague Engineer is also kind of like, of course, the kind of card that sees play when tribal decks are popular and doesn't see play when the tribal decks are not popular. Price of Progress in Modern 2 good? Yeah. Price of Progress sucks to play against. And it would be too good. It would be really, 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 really good. But there are a lot of cards that really are unfun to play against in Legacy that I would just not like to see in Modern. Dude, if my opponent discards an Emrakul for Drown, it's like just the biggest brain play ever. Their hand is remand. They should have remanded this, right? They could have drawn something. See if I draw a Thoughtseize. It's just another land. I think I just want to cling again. Another land. Should be out of those land type cards in my deck soon. We know our opponent has a bolt, so I think maybe we could try to like leverage this dragon when we can protect it. Alright, they just get to do this. Man, okay. One thing we could have actually done is just like counter the bolt, chump block, sack 6 lands, and chump with the dragon. That was probably the line we had to take. But instead of taking that line, I would have liked to have drawn better. So it's got the pushes, conceals. The deck probably plays like 3 basics. That's probably too many to want to bring in Wildfire for. I think we just sideboard like this. Could play a Lantern over the seal. Just keep these for burn. Yeah, I did get lucky to draw Lurrus. That's true. So Kroxa is a nice card to have in this matchup. We can Unearth Kroxa for another discard. I guess I'm going to keep this. We're pretty likely to be able to at least draw the second land. What about Back to Basics in Modern? I mean, Back to Basics is another kind of card that I would not like to see. Back to Basics is just because a card is maybe not too powerful for Modern, just because a card is maybe not overpowered, is not enough of a reason to print it into the format. Back to Basics like really sucks to play against. And it's really unfun. You already have Blood Moon in the format, and that's existed for a long time. But I would rather just not play against Back to Basics in Modern. That card sucks. It's really unfun. And I don't want to see it in the format, in my opinion. But can you also like, it's like, I mean, it's also very clear your intentions, right? It's also so clear your intentions. You go, they're going to give me Counterspell. I bet I could play a deck with 4 Counterspell, 4 Archmage's Charms, 4 Force of Negations, Cryptic Command, Snapcaster Mage, and then I could just fetch a bunch of basics. And maybe I can fetch up Swamp for Fatal Push, or White for a White removal spell, Lightning Bolt, and then I could just play Back to Basics and win every game of Magic. And it's very clear your intentions as well. And I don't want to see that deck in Modern. It sounds really fun. Or unfun. Sorry. And I know, I honestly, it would be really powerful, but I know that we have a lot of blue mages, modern mages in chat, right? Obviously, that's a big portion of the audience here. But can we, as blue mages, please not just be the greediest bastards of all time? Just like actually want it all the time. Please. I say this as someone who plays more blue decks in Modern than, or as many blue decks in Modern as anybody else probably. And everyone just with resounding, no, we can't do that. What do you think about a cycle of Veil of Summers, but they all just hit blue? Interesting. Maybe they're all green, actually. Yeah, Lurrus was a good draw here. So I want to go Thoughtseize plus Lurrus, but I can't. Can't unearth, can't escape Kroxa either. We have Unearth in our hand, so if Lurrus gets countered, we can Unearth next turn after Thoughtseizing. So let's just cast Lurrus. Definitely like a big reason why I just love Unearth in these kind of decks. You got me. I mean, I guess we can just go like Thoughtseize, escape Kroxa. It's probably gonna be fine. How good would a Seal of Inquisition be? If it was, I mean, if it's 1 mana too good. Or a little too good, maybe. Like, Inquisition is already a good card. To just make it better by playing Seal seems like not something that would be balanced card. I think 2 mana would be not good enough. They bolt me. So actually dead to another bolt. Maybe I should have taken the bolt with the Thoughtseize. Maybe they're just going to draw 2. Yeah, I guess I should have taken the bolt. So let's look at the top of their library. See a lightning bolt probably. Spell snare. So we should be able to get them hellbent here, right? Yeah, let's discard their force. I guess I could, yeah, let's actually just bolt the, or hold on. No, we're just gonna kill them. Let's go. Discard 2 damage. We know that they're drawing Spell Snare. So we just get to bolt them and win. Lucky, lucky, lucky Aspiring Spike. Weird concession, though. They didn't know their top card. We did know it. I would have looked. Alright, game 3. Let's go. No more outs? They have lightning bolts in their deck. I'm at 3 life. And Snapcaster. No, we were at 3. We were at 6? I thought we were at 3. Okay, if we were at 6, they had no outs. I thought we were at 3. I mean, I'm obviously off of it today. Unfortunately. I'm going to take the opt. Okay, if I was at 6, I mean, which obviously if chat keeps telling me I'm at 6, I'm at 6. I'm just having an off day today. Ooh. Probably just should Lantern. Well, I could maybe have saved it to trigger the dragon. How's this deck? Felt pretty good. I 5-0 last night. We had like a pretty close match playing for 5-0, but then we 2-3 the last league. But I think it's pretty good. How good is sometimes hard to quantify, you know. Let's iteration. Maybe we could find another discard spell. Okay, so let's go. I guess I would rather have another blue source. So let's go hand, bottom, exile, play. It does mean the Cliff's interest tapped, but I think the second blue source is nice in case we draw drown to go with dragon drown. So they have 2 Prismari commands, a Snapcaster Mage, and a Bolt. I'll just take the second command, I guess. Or maybe we should take the Snapcaster. Could be the Bolt. Is that the dragon? We have a Soul Guide Lantern for the Snapcaster, so I'll take the bolts. Could die if they find land and Emrakul and they loot here and make a treasure, which they probably will do. I'm gonna update this deck list on Twitch. Yeah, do that right now. Discard Prismari Command, Snapcaster Mage. We'll see if we're dead. Looks like it. We play it out? Let's play it out. So having no basic island in the deck is tough. Really punished for playing the oh, alright. I mean, there's not a big difference between being at 1 and 3. There is difference, but not a huge one. Prismari Command kills us. When I put it, if floods out really badly, we can win. Winning this game is also, it's always, you know, beating Emrakul is just one of the coolest things you can do in Magic the Gathering. Just doesn't happen that often. Pretty unlucky that they hit the land Emrakul, but whatever. And they hit us with the lightning bolts. Okay, bummer. Let's go to the next match. GG's. Oh, that's not true. I beat Hardcast Emrakul. Yeah, I beat Hardcast. Or maybe it didn't attack me though, but I did beat Hardcast Emrakul with that Boros brought back deck the other day. Pretty cool moment. Opponent has revealed Jigantha, the Wellspring. Sorry about my accent, but that's how I pronounce Jigantha. And so probably Tron. Not a great hands, honestly, but turn 1 discard spell's important. Isn't there a best of SCG Legacy Gen beats Blood Moon plus Emrakul? Aw, man. Sounds sick. Top card of my library is Steam Vents. No thanks. I will get a dual land here so that I could theoretically cast a Sprite Dragon on turn 2. Is Tron. They have Power Plant, Tower, Map, Scrying. So we'll take the map. A green source will allow them to cast the Scrying. You can also draw another discard spell. There's the dragon. That's about turning this into a Death Shadow deck. So, I mean, when I was brewing Expressive Iteration, or when I was trying to figure out a shell for this yesterday, yes, Death Shadow was definitely a variant of this style of deck that I thought about. I decided that would be a little less interesting than brewing together something like this, so I decided I wanted to play this today instead. But you absolutely could play Death Shadow in this kind of deck, and it'd probably be good too. I think I want to... We could go put for Lurrus in hand, but I think I'm just going to go Cling. Now I'll go Cling plus Dragon and hope that they're fast enough. Go, Sprite Dragon, go. Probably should have got Steam Vents there, actually. Lurrus, thank you for your Twitch Prime. Appreciate ya. Is this Tron for the 4th time in one league? No, this is Tron for the 1st time this league. And, so no, it's not. But maybe it feels that way, huh? Thoughtseize is a pretty good draw. Yeah, I think we just go 13, attack them for 7, down to 6. Yeah, it's also match 3 in this league, so also not possible to be 4 times. But game 1, first time this league feels like 4 times in a row. After I go on this long rant about not shaming Tron players last week. Aspiring hypocrite. So I think they have nothing they can top deck now that they've played the 2nd sphere. Famous last words maybe, but Wormcoil doesn't do it. Karn can't get bridge. I don't know what they can get. They can get Heart of Kiran. Heart of Kiran would blow my mind here. No, when they have 6 mana, they can't Karn into bridge. But if after the second sphere it wasn't enough, because they only have 6 mana, because they can't Worm Coil me. Or Stone Coil Serpent would be good. They got Elixir of Immortality, but they just don't have enough mana to pop it. Also, they shouldn't be playing Elixir of Immortality, right? Like, Ponza plays this to beat Infinite Life, but Tron is great at beating Infinite Life. Yeah, at the start of the turn, Simon, I wasn't sure what you're referencing. But yeah, they had things they could draw. Ugin, card into bridge. So I played this matchup. So I played 2 leagues with this deck last night. The first league I went 3-2, and both of my losses were because Pillage was too slow on the draw against Tron. So now we're playing Cleansing Wildfire. And then I 5-0'd the next league, and I played against Titantron, which is probably a bit of a meme deck. I did 5-0 without losing a game last night. Top of the world. I'm pretty sure this is my sideboard plan. Yeah, they're a Ponza main. I feel like I don't hear that term for Magic decks used that often, main. I wonder if I could use my influence instead to try to beg for a preview card. If I could use my influence to try to get people to start saying, I'm a Titan main, or I'm a Tron main, I'm a Boggles main. I'm playing Soulguide Lantern over Nile Spellbomb to beat Leyline of Sanctity, which living in decks are definitely playing right now, and Living In just did well recently in the challenge. And some Dredge players do play Leyline of Sanctity, but not every single one. I think we go to 5 cards. Titantron is real. Titantron is something. And 5-0'd. Fran 5-0'd with it. Yeah, I'm an Archmage's Charm main for sure. I love that card. I remember I was at a paper tournament when that card was spoiled. I was at a standard PTQ. And I remember seeing it was spoiled, and I was talking to my friends immediately, like, man, I'm going to play the shit out of this card. And I have. It's awesome. Alright, so let's put back Lightning Bolt, Drown in the Loch, and the most important part of this hand is that we have to draw a land. So let's draw it. Let's go! Hell yeah. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. Again, the key there to draw the land like a gamer. Pretty easy stirring stick too. Never punished. I mean, we mulled to 5. I think that we have taken all appropriate game actions, and how could you be punished for taking appropriate game actions? Well, it's pretty good. But we have a wildfire, and we drew the land. So I'm not complaining. I think I'm supposed to hit the another red source, right? I'm supposed to hit the mine. Also notably, Pillage not fast enough here, so I'm glad that I'm playing the wildfires instead. And his Star, Stone, 2 mystery cards. You just go ahead and play the Stone. Kind of weird. I don't know. So we could just play the Sprite Dragon. But I kind of want to be able to Inquisition their Star. So let's go Iteration, look for a land. Man, we missed again? Feels unlucky. I don't know how unlucky it actually is. Their graveyard's going to be pretty full, though. I think I'm just going to take the Drown in the hand. Feels bad. How was the Sultai Sideboard deck? Like, I had a winning record with it or something. I was like 5-2. But the deck just felt like it was doing its thing worse than a lot of different decks like it, unfortunately. So I'll keep thinking about it, and maybe I'll find a way to improve upon it. However, at the time of making this comment, I'm a bit worried that the deck doesn't have legs. Hopefully they just get coding. Yeah, because we can just bolt the Karn. Yeah. We could maybe let them coding a land and go... No, let's just go Inquisition their Star, bolt the Karn, pass. And it's just Ulamog. It's not like jamming the Dragon's going to race them because they have the O-Stone. See if they forget about their companion. They do forget. Oh, well, maybe not yet. Yeah, they do forget about Jingata. Probably better to cast this, right? Than the dragon. Just protecting their companion from a discard spell, of course. Yeah, Jingantha is less of a companion and more of an acquaintance, has always been what I've called her when I've put her in decks. I think I'm just going to bolt. Oh, I should have got Watery Grave, though. Because now if I drop basic mountain, it's really tough. I guess I'll just get a grave tapped. Just saw your vid on YouTube with the Chronic Ooze. Awesome. Yeah, really, really fun deck to play. Kind of been thinking about it a bit. What's I listening to? I just kind of like turned on Synthwave this morning, which I don't usually listen to, but just like typed in Synthwave, and it's just been going. Yeah, it's going all right. All right, so now I'll bolt to kind of incentivize them to crack the stone a bit more, and then we have Drown Up for any top deck they could top deck besides Ulamog, but they have already discarded one Ulamog. And then maybe Kroxa gets there. I mean, if my opponent just never cracks the O-Stone, that's okay. Yeah, a streamer I like, the Happy Hob. He always talks about how good Synthwave is, and again, it's not really something I usually listen to, but it's definitely like good like background noise for streaming. Any reason I stopped playing Jeskai Flagstone? Mostly just kind of like trying to find new things, where like we just had a set release in Strixhaven, and the Jeskai deck has like a couple cards it could play, but it's just not very exciting, and I mostly have just been more interested in other things. Yeah. But not to say I'll never play it again, and that deck is also, of course, very near and dear to my heart. Similar reason for Squirrel Blade, but Squirrel Blade is also, I think, just not very well positioned in the Lava Dart metagame. Like the Bant creatures in Squirrel Blade have a really hard time in this metagame. So what are they going to get with Sanctum? They get an Ulamog, which I could just discard. So I'll counter this, I guess. I suppose so. Seems fine. I also feel like it's fine to not counter. Why did Lava Dart explode in popularity? Was it played a few months ago? It was. But Prowess decks have been really good for... I mean, time is obviously convoluted in this year. But yeah, Lava Dart decks have been good and popular for a while now. So let's see what they're drawing. Bauble's really good ticket to know if I need to hold up Drown this turn or not. They're drawing Power Plant, so I can go attack, see if they crack their stone, and like they really don't want to crack it here, but I think they kind of have to. I don't know. I just get to Kroxa. Should be game over. Put the hard spot for them. Oh, I should have actually Thoughtseize as a lightning bolt here. Just discard their yeah, I could have discarded their Ulamog and then dealt them 3. But also they're dead next turn to Lurrus Sprite Dragon. That's exactly 10, so game over either way. But says I Heart Lands. Alright. 2-1. Oh yeah, we multi-5 that game. Yeah, I think it was a good multi-5. Just drew the land. Wait, did we just beat Tron? We can. I feel like we beat Mono Green and E-Tron pretty often. Like even like probably more than we lose to it. I just never beat Mono Blue Tron. Am I not getting tired of playing so much every day? I am. I'm a withered corpse, a husk inside a body, longing for the day that I can become a no-hit Dark Souls streamer. No, I do have like ways I manage burnout, but no, I'm having a good time still. Especially because, you know, so much of my stream is like pushing myself to brew and try new things and stuff that it's always fresh for me for the most part. Oh, we lost to Breach as our one loss so far. I mean, I'm gonna take the Snapcaster, but having Cling to answer Snapcaster is kind of nice. Let's see what they're drawing. Valakut Awakening on top. The background is a collage of most of the stream's inside jokes, and I meant to actually update it over the weekend, but I ended up spinning yesterday doing other stuff. But it's a collage of all the inside jokes of the stream throughout the years. 3 Sundays ago, something like that. I spent all day putting it together, and complimenting the collage is actually the best thing you could possibly do to support the channel. So I appreciate you doing that. Better than subscribing is to compliment the collage. What's the Far Cry? So it says Scry 2 equals draw 1, which is a bit of a meme because people always say scrying is equal to half a card. Scrying is equal to half a card. It's just not. Scrying is good, but it's not card advantage. They wield their whole hand away. Okay, cool. And so we're just it's been a kind of a running joke. Whenever I scry, people talk about the card advantage I get from it. All right, let's cast an iteration here. Oh yeah, Checo is also one that I keep meaning to add, but I haven't yet. Yeah, I want to keep up the Drown for possible combo here, I think. Although you have Bauble in every deck. Bauble's one of the best cards in Modern. Yeah. Do they just like really badly want to Cryptic Command something? I'm a bit worried about end of turn through the breach into through the breach. I'm gonna shock. Need to dedicate a corner of the cards that got me there. Ridden 6, Sharknado, Force of Negation. Maybe. It'd be kind of hard to like. I like the idea, right? Like to connect all of like the most popular decks and like the progression of them. May take a while. It was like the Ridden 6 John was like the first popular. That was like the first like probably popular deck I played, and then it kind of feels like the Grixis Into the Story Drown of the Loch deck was what came next, but there were definitely like a bunch of good ones in between then, but like the next big one was that one, and yeah, the Counterbalance deck, of course Headband's still in the chat. Yeah, the Counterbalance deck, Jeskai Flagfire, Stoneblade variants, you know, Bring to Light Lurrus recently feels like a big one, and there's living lots of good decks in between there too. And it's also, I guess, like when I talk about the when I talk about like the Grixis control deck, I'm like, I just kind of skip over like an entire like 3-month period or 4, 5, 6-month period where I just played Pioneer, or almost exclusively played Pioneer, and really enjoyed it. Did a lot of good brews in that format too. my stream is the main thing that got me interested in historic. Yeah. Actually, I really liked how my testing for historic went. The one tournament I got to play it in. Yeah, it is cool that I do feel like every viewer or almost every viewer I have in this chat became a viewer
your friend
because they really liked a deck, like a specific deck. Sean, thanks for turning around to Just Got Counter. Yeah, that deck was great. Helping me break the aggro deck addiction. I'm so slow, however. Yeah, that definitely has a lot of learning curves, especially in paper too. I imagine it's tough. I'm glad you're liking it. But yeah, it does feel like everybody probably saw a deck list I made, liked it a lot, and then started following the channel. I imagine it's been the natural progression. Oh, this is actually really bad if my opponent only has Emrakul to hit, because then my drowns are just off. It's about 9,000 has redeemed. Tell a bad beat story. I've been trying to like mix these up a bit because we're drawing Kroxa, so I think we can let this go. I've been trying to mix these up a bit. Although no, I should have drowned because then my drowns might just get turned off. Okay, thank goodness. But I'm trying to mix it up a bit because I feel like I can't tell the same ones over and over again. But I played the Throne of Eldraine pre-release. It was one of the last pre-releases before COVID, maybe the last one. And I played against an opponent who had, I believe, 2 Witch's Oven, or 2 Cauldron Familiar, and 2 Witch's Ovens in their sealed deck. It was gnarly. It was just like unreal how powerful it was in our limited game. It was great. I was really impressed by their deck. And I hadn't even like really looked at the set too much before the pre-release. Fnatic 13, keep the sweet brews. Thanks, buddy. I've been working really hard lately. I'm feeling really good. Man, yeah, I guess the Emrakul is just going to turn off our drowns. The nice thing is if they have a counterspell, we get to drown it, and, we'll take a Titan as a consolation prize, I suppose. Did anyone ever do the hilariously awful bot drafts? I've drafted very little on Arena. I really dislike drafting against bots. That's certainly one thing that I used to play a ton of Limited, and now I found it hard to keep up with Limited and also like keep the stream entertaining. But drafting against bots just really was a breaking point for me, or deal breaker. Let's let this resolve. They took a drown in the Loch. In what world do you take one of the 3 dead drown in the Lochs there? That's actually one of the worst plays I've ever seen. They have an opt on top. I'm gonna keep up drown because they could. We can turn it on by seal of firing their guy. What's my opinion of Cube? I love Cube. I used to play. I have a lot of fond memories of before leagues were even a thing. There was like one weekend or week where I was house sitting for my parents, and my dad has like 3 monitors, and I had just 3 vintage Cube drafts going all day, every day for that entire week. It was a great week, or however long it was, like maybe like 4 or 5 days. I used to do a ton of cube drafts. I drafted. Me and my friends have a couple cubes that we draft from time to time, but sadly, again, it's like to keep like the stream fresh and entertaining. I tend to focus all of my Magic time and energy into this, and so when I'm wanting to do something just for fun, playing cube is not usually what I pick. I usually pick a different game or hang out with Athena or Esther, something. Yeah, cube streams are fun, but I've also done them and they're not as popular as the modern streams, Like some people, like, your audience is what you build it to be. My audience is people who are interested in, you know, exciting modern decks, and if I play cube, I usually lose a big chunk of that. And, you know, maybe there's something to be said for transitioning and having some flexibility. And there's also just something to be said that, you know, to keep grinding and working for what's working for you. It's interesting conversation. I do usually draft cube in between rounds of tournaments that I'm streaming. I really like it when there's a good cube on. Maybe we should have played Emma Handy's cube this weekend. It looks pretty fun. If you're Demon Deck Tech, can you look at your Pauper cube? I will not look at a whole cube for Deck Tech, no. I'll look at pictures of it and tell you it looks nice, I guess. On the draw against Through the Breach, I kind of like this hand. You know, Ross Merriam once said something very wise to me, that some amount of your viewers are always going to ask for more content, right? There's always going to be some people in chat that want limited streams, that want standard, historic, whatever. So people are going to ask for it. And then the key is going to be to figuring out what actually works for you. Well, I can't play around Veil of Summer this game, so I'm not going to. Maybe I should have Thoughtseize, because if it gets veiled, we don't lose the 2 life, and it's kind of a painful hand. Never said a wise thing in Cherry Life. I must be thinking of someone else. My bad. From the horse's mouth itself, you know? Yeah, I think I should have Thoughtseize there. We have the Drown in our hand, but seems a lot better to just take that Emrakul. Yeah, I think that's also true too, Holy PT, is that it's also not good to just stream whatever your viewers want you to stream if you're not enjoying it. Like, you know, because whatever you enjoy is going to translate to the overall enjoyment of the stream. If you don't like it, it's going to be clear. So that's also certainly true. Maybe a little under realized, you know. Very insightful. Should have taken Emrakul first. Yeah, we should have. Yeah. Drown's such a weird card. So we know their hand is Snow-Covered Island, 2 copies of Through the Breach. I don't really want to Thoughtseize that hand. Wanted to play the dragon before the Thoughtseize so that we could, of course, what's this? Fine is what that is, I think. Maybe not. Always draw the fetch land immediately. Shadow could be sweet in this deck. Yeah, I think this could be a shadow deck, and it might even be better as a shadow deck. I just kind of wanted to play like the more answer heavy variants first. But yeah, Shadow's probably good here. I agree. We know opponent's hand is Through the Breach mystery card. I think I just want to get Lurrus down and maybe attack Ashiok. Ashiok actually doesn't turn off Drown. Ashiok only can exile cards from your opponent's graveyard. Do we try out Shadow Sprite Dragon? No, that might be something if I have time tonight or tomorrow night. Try off stream and see how it feels. One thing is, like, I don't think that is super exciting, but Expressive Iteration does make it more exciting. One thing is, I also kind of feel like Gurmag Angler plays nice with Expressive Iteration. So it's possible that I would be on like Angler Shadow and not be playing Lurrus. Oh no, I meant to cast Sprite Dragon into Thoughtseize here. Bummer. But I mean, pretty easy actually. I think Unearth, bottom, hand, or exile, play. Just attack Ashiok first. Yeah, it's just like, it doesn't really feel like enough of a reason to not play Lurrus, although it is part of the reason why it is part of the reason why the blue-red prowess decks don't play Lurrus. Can you cycle straight away from exile? No. Yeah. I don't know. Just something to think about. There's a lot of a lot of angles to this case. As I like to say. Put a card on top. I'll probably play Bring to Light Lurrus tomorrow. I of course want to keep playing that deck. Oh, I was supposed to bolt Ashiok in response. Okay, well, just let the Ashiok die, I guess. It's not like we had anything in the graveyard to use anyways. Oh, only one blue mana because the other two blue sources got milled. It's actually a pretty tough beat, huh? My opponent has to have exactly land Emrakul as the two unknowns here, so I'm not gonna play around it though. They have a counterspell to probably counter this, and then we get to trigger the dragons with Unearth. Hope you've been keeping a strict drug regimen to keep your mind limber. Weird comment, but I do drink a lot of coffee. I played the Sideboard deck in between rounds on Saturday. I think I played it off stream on Friday. I just think that deck is doing what a lot of other decks in the format are doing too, but just not as efficiently. So I'm not sure that I like it. One mana Cryptic Command. Yeah, all the days blur together. Had Spike, never seen the Big Lebowski. Sounds like you're out of your elements, Max. Asking a question like that. Ooh. Well, if we cast that, then we do not get to hold up Drown. So if they go counterspell into Through the Breach, it's kind of bad. It's not kind of bad for us. We just die. Which is kind of bad for us. I'm going to go just cycle this. See if we find bolts or something. But just like, it's really hard for us to lose if we just hold up Drown here. And now they can't fetch in Shock. Not that they really want to do that for anything besides like Anger of the Gods, I guess. I remember my best friend's first bachelor party. My best friend's first bachelor party. We were able to get Big Lebowski in the DVD player, but we were all way too drunk to figure out how to. Hopefully, during your best man speech, you told everyone that you'd see them the next time. No, absolutely not. Not that kind of douchebag. That being said, when I did give my best friend's speech, my best man speech, I stood up and then he handed me a printed out script of The Big Lebowski. Which was really funny. Like right before I gave the speech. Steam Vents on top of my opponent's library. Just pass it back. That's the worst, right? People who comment on... People who comment on the fact that this is like a second wedding at the wedding. Is Kess good enough for a deck like this? The problem with Kess, besides the fact that Kess is a little underpowered, is that you don't get Lurrus as a companion. And I do think Kess is a little underpowered, not really very good in Modern, but especially not so powerful that you would not play Lurrus as a companion. Like, you can't just put Kess in your hand whenever you want to, unfortunately. Not sure what's going on. I mean, we could just get Blood Moon to lose, I guess, but not too much you can do about it this game. Could we just Through the Breach again? Through the Breach, we played against it twice this league. It was one of our losses, although also one of our wins, and it did do well at in the challenge, right? So maybe people are just trying it out. Wow, playing against Through the Breach 3 times in the league is weird, huh? They've got the combo, which is not great for us. So I think I'm gonna drown their Snapcaster Mage that I'm sure they're gonna play into turn unless they just play around it. I would play the Snapcaster here. Why they decide not to? Play their Pathway. I feel dead. I feel like I'm just gonna get Through the Breach. Does the modern meta feel like it's getting a lot narrower? Not a lot. In fact, it feels like there's a like relatively normally the metagame feels like it's about as focused as it usually is. And it's about as diverse as it usually is. And then there's also just a lot of people who are still playing whatever the hell they want, like also like usual, so no. In fact, Modern is so diverse that it's very easy to just like get paired against the same deck a few times in a row and feel like it's not as diverse as it used to be. Like I keep getting paired against Mono Blue Tron, and I still refuse to admit that deck exists. All right, do we play to unlock the achievement here, or do we 104.3A? I kind of want to try to unlock the achievements. We drew a land. Yeah, a deck that's not good, but I also just can never ever beat, of course. I don't think that we're unlocking the achievement, chat. Yeah, apparently the meta is completely crystallized. Good word. Is that the word you used? Crystallized to breach. What a great word. Such a good for a Twitch chat comment. I'm very impressed. And for a member of my Twitch chat too, double impressed. Is the modern metagame all blue red Through the Breach? Always has been. I don't think I've ever played against Breach 3 times in a league before. It's crazy. It's like very rare to see it once. Yeah, metagame's all over the place. I say crystallize all the time. I kind of want to just add that word to my vocabulary. You know, you sometimes hear a word, you really like it, and you're like, I'm gonna start saying that. I like it. Is Soul Guide and the Emrakul a thing? Not really. They have 4 Emrakuls in their deck. But they do have Snapcasters, and I think Soul Guide Lantern is just a bit better than Seal of Fire, even as like a cycler with Lurrus. Oh, is this the same opponent? No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a different opponent. Oh, is this the same? No, it's different. I regularly use big words to see more photosynthesis. Impressive. Do you mean my chat is 2 times worse than average chat? I mean, I honestly feel like my chat is 100 times better. Not 100 times, but I feel like my chat is a more wholesome and welcoming and friendly community than the average Twitch chat. Not saying that the average Twitch chat is that bad, but I do feel like my chat is really good, and it's so good that when I do see some toxicity in the chat, I don't always do a great job dealing with it because I'm not used to it. Rancid 9 months, appreciate you. Thanks for giving me new decks to spike both left and end. I do best. Yeah, well, my chat is good, but I'm incredibly toxic, of course. It's just a fluke that everybody here is nice, and I'm just, I just scare away all the other people. Hey guys, I don't think Shark Typhoon is very good. It is a little worse in this metagame, but we're not allowed to say that, I think. But this most recent metagame, Typhoon has felt worse. Yeah, it was like actually like a lot better when you could just like fly over Field of the Dead tokens, and then you're all about playing at instant speed against the Uro decks. Found out your LGS is closing soon. That is sad. I haven't had an LGS since the one I went to very regularly, just FNM all the time, closed. It's really a bad experience. Well, I'd keep this if this was a dual land. We're only playing two lands in the deck that can't cast the Izzet cards. That was one of them. All right, let's keep this. I think on 6 you have to keep. I don't think you can go to 5. Corn Chips, thank you for gifting a sub to M in Rat Jam. If we just draw a land, we're doing okay here. I'll take the charm here. Maybe we can take the second charm. Yeah, Typhoon just also, of course, not very good against Prowess. Put a card on the top. And we drew a land like a professional. We have 2 blue cards in our hand. I think we're still going to get a Blood Crypt. Feels kind of close. I do think we just want to use the most mana efficient play here. And then maybe we can go like Iteration into a land, Inquisition away their next charm, and escape Kroxa. And his Charm, Snapcaster, Cascade Bluffs Mystery card. We have bricked. We've been in the spot like a few times today, and twice we've just bricked on a land. But we did not brick just now. So let's go land in hand, bolt on the bottom, exile Delta, fetch up basic swamp. Yeah, we don't have another Blood Crypt anyways. So we made up for missing on those lands earlier by hitting 2 lands this time. Well, I've got 1 Kolaghan's Command in my deck. But I am, of course, very cold to that Madcap, huh? Oh, we just have Drown in the Loch in our deck, huh? Never mind. Yeah, we just have Drown in the Loch. I'm going to escape Kroxa. I think I'm pretty cool if they charm it here. I know that maybe we're too far away from Drown working. Maybe we're too far away from Drown working. But they also need to top deck a land, and that's not a foregone conclusion. There'll be 3 cards in their graveyard away. Yeah, that's not so many. And maybe they'll just maybe they'll just draw 2 to try to madcap. That's also okay, I think. Especially because the card goes to their yard if they do that. Yeah. So the hand is Snapcaster, Madcap, 2 mystery cards. They didn't hit the land, which is like unbelievably good for us. The start of this game was looking really tough. We mulliganed on the play. We kept a 1-lander. Their hand was really strong. Now they missed a land drop. It's kind of painful to fetch and shock again here. You'd have Iteration and held up Drown. The thing is, I just think that the Drown is probably going to be able to answer the Empyrean. And it's just holding up Drown so bad if they just don't cast it too, which... If they get to draw 2, it's just so bad. But making them... Making my opponent... They're floating 2 blue. Maybe just they're having a hard time with Cascade Bluffs. So my opponent's hand is Snapcaster, Madcap. They have a Pathway on top. But right now they're just 2 cards away from our Drown killing their Empyrean. We can get one of those cards in the yard by escaping Kroxa next turn. I'll save the Cling to Dust for their Snapcaster, I guess. Oh, that's 2 cards. So yeah, so let's go make sure we can hit a spell with Thoughtseize because we know they have Snapcaster at least. I guess we know they have 2 spells because they missed a land drop. Oh no. Yeah, okay, so I can't Kroxa the Emrakul. No, we're at 8. Okay, it's fine. We have Cling. I thought we could take a hit. We have Cling. Should have done this first. We're dead to a counterspell for no reason. Cling, Emrakul. They still get the trigger. They still get the shuffle that graveyard trigger. Oh, they drew Snapcaster. Well, this game could have been managed better. But also, like, if their head was just any other card besides Emrakul, we get to drown. And I also thought we could take a hit. I just miscounted. Yeah, whatever. Should have exiled from my own yard. Well, if we exile from our own yard, we're excellent.